was a dark, stormy night. The wind was blowing as I lay in my bed with the dehumidifier, and the air conditioner blowing. And after half a bourbon, I was making less sense than Joe Biden at a Democratic debate.
In a world where nothing is known, nothing is certain, reality is not real. Wake up! Be afraid of nothing. I'm Bob Heske.
Robert.
The host with the ghost.
This is my podcast, based on my paranormal documentary, Afraid of Nothing. Each episode, we talk to people who see life and the afterlife through a different lens. Join me.
Who is this large man? And what's he doing in our bedroom?
As we lift the veil and open our minds to see beyond our eyes lie. This is Afraid of Nothing.
You know, usually you go to your bank to take money out, but I go to my bank to get ghost stories. I'm here today with Josh Bonina, who is not only an AVP at my local branch, but he's also a gamer, a professional gamer on the side. So just tell us a little bit about that, Josh.
Yeah, so basically got into gaming probably like 2017 and developed a love for the game. And I've always been in gaming. I've always been into whether it be Xbox or PlayStation, but now I play PC. I play for an actual esports team, sponsored by a few different people, and it's been an interesting journey.
That's crazy. So what, you're not an old guy by any means. Actually, it's not a video, so he looks kind of like, oh God, who's that actor I'm thinking of? The guy that was in...
I get a lot of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. That's it. He gets a lot of that. Jake with a beard. Just think of that. So, what age did you start gaming, by the way?
Been gaming my whole life, probably since I was, 8 to 10 years old. I mean, playing on whether it be Nintendo or whether it be GameCube or Gamecast, and just different game consoles and whatnot. I mean,
but Fortnite, is that your game?
Yeah, Fortnite's my game.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
All right. So it's funny. I've been listening. I've been watching YouTube videos, and there's a lot of videos where like gamers are gaming and the door goes open behind them.
Yeah. So absolutely.
We're going to get into. What we're here today is you've actually, we talked when I was talking, just casual talk, you have had a lot of weird experiences in your life with the paranormal, and it started kind of at a younger age, and then you grew up in a house that was haunted with your parents' own. So let's, we're just going to go over this because those are pretty fascinating. Let's start with the first one. I mean, it was actually a rental place you went to. You mind kind of walking us through it?
Yeah, certainly. So basically, this was like 07, 08. Going up to a friend's family's cottage up in Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire. Basically, started out the drive. Me and my friend at the time drove up there. He never been to that house either. I'd never been there. It was our first time going up there. The parents had already got there, and the sister was actually meeting us there later on that night. Basically, from the first night to the 4 out of 7 nights that we could make it, there was some serious stuff going on up there.
Yeah, so you went for a week vacation, summer vacation.
Yep.
It's not a place you've been to before. Nope. You just rented it and went in cold and left cold 4 days later, basically.
Left with a memory that still follows me to this day. I mean, not saying there was an attachment or something like that, but it's something that never leaves my mind.
So tell us about day one. What happened? Walk us through it.
So day one, we got there probably around like 4 o'clock, summer. So it gets late and gets dark a little bit later. We arrived to the cottage. It was in the woods. Took about 2.5 hours to get there, almost 3 hours. Pretty deep into New Hampshire. And the first day when we were there, we arrived and we were getting situated, and the parents brought us to our bedroom, and we were sleeping in bunk beds. And right away from walking into the bedroom, I took the bottom bunk, my friend took the top bunk, and basically we looked up on the bottom bunk, and underneath the mattress of the top bunk was a pentagram.
Yeah.
So we were a little bit taken back by that. We were like, we really didn't think of anything at first. We were like, oh, whatever. Like somebody must have been having fun up here. But that night actually was one of the scariest nights of my life.
Yeah, you woke up in the middle of the night and saw something, didn't you?
So we went out to dinner about 6 o'clock. We came back. It wasn't like we were drinking or anything like that. We were underage, or only 18 years old at the time. And we came back from dinner, and it was about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And we started to settle down for the night and went to bed, and woke up at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I thought I heard something in our room, and I thought it was my friend, like maybe walking around, he couldn't sleep or whatnot. And I woke up and kind of peeled over the bed and saw that there was a person in our room, but the person was just sitting by the bureau off to the side, kind of in a ball on the floor.
Was there like moonlight coming through, or what was the lighting in there?
There was a night light actually in the bottom left-hand corner, not near that person, but enough to make out things in the room. I mean, you could definitely see things in the room. But basically there was a person kind of in the ball position that was sitting on his rear end on the floor with his knees up to his chest, and he had, I actually said to him, I said, at the person, I called my friend's name, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And why are you out of bed sitting on the floor? The thing actually just looked up to me with bright, glowing green eyes. And at that time, I grabbed my buddy, and I woke him up, and I'm like, what is going on here? And he saw it too, and we just booked it out of the room into the parents' room, to where we woke them up, and we're very getting chills just talking about it, just startled. They had no idea, and that was.
Did they go in and explore the room, or?
Yeah, everybody went back in there, but nothing was in there at the time. It was gone. Yeah. And it's funny, when we left to go into the parents' room, when we came back, when the parents were there talking to us, like, what the heck is going on? Why are you waking us up? We actually heard something like a pounding noise. So I don't know if it was like something, the door closing or whatnot.
Yeah. Was it cold? Was it like, what was the room? Do you remember it being just normal, but it was just a visual type of thing?
It was just a visual type thing. It was probably 70 degrees that night. I mean, it was a warm week. It was the mid of summer, and it was a warm week, a warm night.
So the next morning you wake up and people are probably making fun of you, right?
We actually slept on the parents' floor.
Yeah.
Of their bedroom that night, because we were so scared and taken back of what was going on.
Did they, when you woke up, did you think, it was a dream? Did they kid you around, or what did you think?
Yeah, so basically the parents were like, okay, what's going on, guys? They thought we were like just messing around with them, but like the gentleman I was, he really isn't the type of joking around. I mean, same myself, I don't consider myself like really a jokester when it comes to that stuff. I'm a big believer or whatnot. I mean, I have my interests, and I think that there's things out there, but I mean, I wouldn't go out on a limb and say, hey, listen, this was a ghost, you know what I mean? I mean, I have no idea what it was. All I know was there's a person there, bright green eyes, and the parents thought we were crazy at first, but then I think they kind of knew we weren't joking around when both of us were like,
did you sense like bad mojo, bad vibes from that
thing? The first night, no. I mean, no. I mean, that night, I just didn't know, because it scared me so much. Like, I had never seen anything like this, so I didn't know what to think. I mean, I just jumped out of it. Like, I kind of like shook my buddy. I'm like, what is going on? And when I looked down, I just knew that this was not a normal situation. This was something that was of the abnormal.
Yeah. Now, not quite paranormal, but abnormal.
Definitely in the abnormal side. Yeah. But I mean, the reason why it goes paranormal is from the other nights of what happens.
Yeah. So go to night two. Did you go back to the room on night two, or did you stay in the parents' room?
No. Yep. So night two, we were actually waiting for the sister to come up for night two, because she was coming up, not the first night, but the second night, and she was coming up, and basically. That night two, we went to the beach the whole day. We got back, and we were in the middle of cooking dinner on the back deck, cooking burgers and whatnot. And the sister was coming up. Something happened though on the way up, so they thought they were going to be a little bit later on. So it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We were all sitting around the family room watching a movie. Parents, mother, father, My friend at the time, it was an L couch, how it was shaped. So the parents were on the one side of the couch, and then we were on the other side. And to our front of us, there was a big glass window, a big glass sliding door window that opened up to the deck to overlook the lake. And it had like shades that drooped down that you could move on the front of it. And basically, at the time, we thought the sister was coming, and we heard a big bangs on the front door. So now, we didn't see any lights come up the driveway or anything like that. So it was definitely stranger. But basically, we thought it was a sister. The father runs out. Father gets up. I'll get the door. Opens the door, and nobody's there. So this is the first thing that was kind of strange. And then, 5 minutes later, there was the back door up on a deck, but it was raised up. It's 20 feet off the ground. There's no stairs to it. It's just a deck for observing, maybe suntanning or whatnot. On that door, we heard boom, 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 bang again. We were like, all right, someone's messing around. There's probably kids out there playing a game, but we were like, wait a minute, there's no steps to this. So we didn't see the deck during the daytime because we got there a little bit later and it was a white deck. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really see it. We didn't know that. We thought somebody ran up the stairs, was just messing around with us. But then we were like, wait a minute, there is no stairs. So the only way it could be is this person came over the roof or jumped 20 feet up into the thing. So it's 8:40, almost 9 o'clock, we'll say, and everybody's like, what the heck is going on? Everybody's kind of on edge right now because nobody knows what's going on. So we're all back on the couch waiting for the sister. I think the parents were texting the daughter to figure out what's going on here. And basically what happens is we're all laying on the couch, and the coasters from the behind us, all of a sudden you heard, they were thrown against the shades that moved and hit the window. The window didn't break, but they were...
How far away were they from the window?
Probably 10 feet. From maybe 15 feet. But they were behind us. That's the thing. There was nobody there. Everybody was laying on the couches. There was nothing going... there was nobody in that area. They were all thrown against the window and whatnot. Wow. So it was definitely on the weirder side on that. At that time, the parents were like, what the heck is going on? They still thought we were messing around or something. Yeah. Because they've just never experienced anything. These people were not the type to ever think about anything like that. So now the parents are like, okay, something's going on. Well, the sister finally shows up and is it's 10 o'clock now, and the sister finally showed up, and they're banging on the door. And we were like, what the heck's going on? We're oh, here we go again. It's going to start again. Well, when they showed up, they were taken back, and they were there was something going on. And the sister was like, yeah, what the heck were you guys doing up in the top floor? And we were like, nobody has been up on the top floor. Nobody was upstairs at all. So she's like, I'm telling you guys, somebody was up on the top floor. Somebody was up there, walking back and forth. So we were like, what the heck? So the dad goes upstairs because he's like, all right, this is somebody that wasn't even there. Nobody has been downstairs. We've been watching a movie. Nobody else is in the house. But while we're watching, we did hear movement going back and forth up there. But we just thought it was the wind or something just creaks in the attic or whatnot. Yeah. But now when we look back, it was definitely something walking up there because, why would the sister randomly come in? Nobody talked to her about saying, oh, yeah, there's ghosts in here. And then she randomly say, what were you guys doing upstairs?
So is this an old beach house cabin?
Yeah, it was a beach house. It was a 3-floor beach house, old wooden lake house. It was been there, probably since the 40s or 50s.
This place is cursed.
Okay.
Yep. So basically, now that we have 3 people claiming that one of them seeing someone, we're seeing things. There's three claims going on. So now that the parents are very concerned about the house just in general, they don't know what's going on.
Do they think it's paranormal at that point, or do they think somebody's in there, maybe a homeless person or something?
No. They were starting to get the sense that it was paranormal. They were getting the sense that it was definitely something not normal was going on. Then that night, we did hear more running. The dad heard more running going on. We heard more bangs at the front door. There was 2 or 3 more occasions where banging came back upstairs. And it's funny because that night, we slept on the parents' floor in the bedroom because everybody was on edge. Everybody was very scared. They didn't know what was going on, but there was things being moved, there was things being thrown, there was people hitting doors. It was just a very strange incident that occurred.
So everybody was in the parents' room at that?
Yeah, everybody. All
6 people, or what?
It was the father, the mother, myself, my friend, his sister, and her friend. Yeah.
Okay, so it was the parents of you were the kind of the.
I was. It wasn't my parents. It was my friend's parents. Yep.
All right. Okay, and that's night 2, right?
That's night 2.
Then we go on to day 3.
Day 3. Day 3 was probably the most interesting night, where I don't even know how much sleep we got that first night. Basically, everybody was hearing things throughout the night. I mean, I think I only slept probably like 2 or 3 hours that night. Wake up in the morning. This day was a very, very strange day. It started, the sounds and whatnot started off right away from when we woke up to right through the day. Basically, the first thing we were eating everybody was eating breakfast, and the sister that showed up late couldn't find her keys anywhere, couldn't find her pocketbook anywhere whatsoever, and she left it on the counter. Couldn't find it anywhere. Come back, it was upstairs. And she never even went up there. So it was like, it was things after thing. I mean, if somebody was playing a trick on us or messing around, we would have caught on to it so fast. I mean, this wasn't like somebody was like doing it. It wasn't that. It was something that I've never experienced. That was in the morning. She was trying to figure out things to go to the beach. Came back, the mother asked if we came back during the day. In the house, the front door was wide open when we came in. This day was just very bizarre because of how many people felt activity. The mother, the father, the sister, myself, the person I was with.
Did you feel it was like one entity or more than one, or any idea? Or?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know what it was. Or
did the sister see just one person upstairs?
Yeah, a male figure. And like that was the same thing that we saw. A male on the floor. The third day, there was during like lunch when the mother was making sandwiches. She said a knife fell off the counter, didn't touch it, never even went near it. It was in a knife rack, like a wooden knife rack. She said the whole knife rack fell over. And the knives went all over the floor. That was throughout the day. When we came home that night, the sister reported more activity throughout the night, things that were just very bizarre. TVs turning on by themselves, radio, white noises, radios coming on and being pshh. Yeah. Nothing there. That night.
Did people feel like they had to, stay together, or did they still kind of branch off and then come back? Yeah.
We did our own thing, just because, we're 18-year-old guys up in Lake Winnipesaukee. We want to go have fun, but realistically, when we came back the third night, I think we made the decision and said, we actually said it the second night, like, hey, let's get the heck out of here. We don't want to be here anymore. That third night, like I said, we only made it to the fourth morning. The third night, everybody experienced, including the parents, and they were just like, this is bad. Like, this.
Were you guys in different bedrooms at that time?
Different
went
bedrooms,
back to rooms, and
we went back to the rooms. I think their biggest thing was the bed shaking. Was that's I think was the
while they were in it, or
no, they were getting ready to go to bed, and you just heard screams of them yelling like, "Oh my God, what is going on?"
Yeah, God.
And the mother just flew out the bedroom door. And that was like the last straw. We were like, we're packing up and getting the hell out of here. We're not sticking around. So,
did you guys ever do any research after the fact, or is it just something we're like,
just let it go? And just realistically, we didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know what to do at the time.
Did you talk to your parents about it? Did you talk to your friend about it a lot afterwards?
Actually, I'll be honest with you. After that, like, we kind of split up and went our different ways.
Yeah.
Just because what happened. We didn't know what was going on at the time. Yeah. So, it was just a very bizarre situation that happened.
Yeah. What did your parents think when you went home and told them?
My parents are very, they don't believe in that stuff at all. And it's funny because, realistically, I think their house is haunted also. So, I've had my paranormal experiences there, realistically, and it's been at their house. I think there's more paranormal activity than I experienced there.
So, how long have your parents been at the house, and what age were you when you lived there?
They've been there since 1996, And I'd been there. I mean, I moved in when I was probably 10 years old.
Yeah.
9 years old.
So this was you lived there before the cabin experience, or what?
Yeah, I lived in that house.
Okay.
Way
so
prior.
you had some exposure, but nothing that frightened you like this, or?
Yeah, nothing. I've never had an experience like the cabin experience, just because like I saw something that I can't explain.
Yeah.
At my parents' house, it's been a series of a bunch of things. Whether it's been on the side of the I can just start from the beginning. When we moved in, when we were redoing the basement, basically my father ripped apart the whole wall, and all of a sudden behind this wall was a tombstone.
A tombstone. Like a headstone, like a big headstone.
Yes. Like
300-pound granite rock.
4 feet high, 2 feet wide, big headstone. Like,
How could that even fit in a wall? That's crazy, because you think of like,
No, it was put behind this wall for a reason and sealed up for a reason. Wow. Which is even more bizarre, because after we finished the basement and after going through everything in the top floor of the house, in where my sister lived.
Quick question, because I know people are going to be down. What did the tombstone say? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was someone's name and her date of her name, her birth date, her date of death.
When did she die? Yeah.
That I don't know. It's in my woods if you want to go dig it up.
Sure.
we literally...
Oh, you got rid of it. You bet. Yeah.
We just threw it out in my backwoods.
Wow.
We didn't know what to do with it. I mean, it's a tombstone. But basically, we found the tombstone to where my sister stayed in her room, when they were doing the wallpaper over there. Basically, what happened was we take all the wallpaper off the wall, and there was writing in red. I don't know if it was a red pen. I mean, I don't think it was blood, but it was in red all over the walls. Like suicide notes, like death things, like things of evil. Things that like you wouldn't like, hate messages and things like this all over this wall. We later did some research and found out the girl did commit suicide in that house, in that room. Wow. So it was kind of creepy to find out that. Why would the
tombstone be in the way? That's kind of a weird, freaky thing. Is this?
You're telling me.
I know. So you found this stuff, but nothing had happened at that point, but you had signals. And then after the fact, things started happening.
I mean, I was young at the time to do that. And then going forward, basically, I mean, throughout my life of the last, 20 years of what I can remember, there's been some weird things. Whether it's been things turning on by themselves, people hearing voices in the house, people yelling from like the downstairs.
So it's more than one. It's not just a girl. It's more than one.
No, yeah, we think it's more than one. We think it's more because like we've heard multiple people talking, like conversations going on, but nobody's there. Like we thought, like we had like a subterranean tunnel from like back in the olden days when they had like tunnel systems where they communicated like yelling from parts.
So it's kind of muted. It's almost like it's from another room through a wall type of thing.
Yes, exactly. That's what we thought at one time we had that, but. I mean, we've never found anything. We've redone that whole house pretty much.
So you've done a lot of noises, no visuals at that place. Any mood swings and changes? I know, but did it affect people?
I personally think it did. I mean, I think there was a lot of anger in the house and a lot of anxiety, and I don't know if it was carried over from jobs. Yeah. But I definitely have had my fair share of experiences.
Any electrical problems there? Or?
No electrical problems, nothing like that. I mean, it's a solid house. I mean, I'm thinking more of like the how the paranormal there. I feel like it's like they play games there with you. Like my wife always thought that this doll. My mother collects antiques. She's a big antiques collector, so she's probably had a lot of things that could have had attachments to it. You know what I mean?
Just like classics.
Trigger objects and whatnot. So she used to collect dolls, Raggedy Ann dolls, clowns, small little figurines and stuff. And my wife, at the time when we lived there, she always used to say those things were haunted. And then I would ask her why, and she's like, I'm telling you right now, I was home alone, and she's had experiences where she's heard footsteps, but small kid footsteps, footsteps of little children. We've heard little kids laughing. We've heard toys, little kid toys come on automatically. Very strange things to where how would this even possible? We have a toy room for my nieces and nephews when they come in, and there was one experience that we had. I wasn't at the house at the time. My mother sent me the video, and that was it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden they heard babies talking upstairs. But they went upstairs, and something was playing with this toy that kept saying, call 911, call 911. And that's what it just kept repeating. And like my mother
is a toy supposed to say call?
I have no idea, but they were very, very concerned, and were very, very taken back. And
which is kind of weird. You think of a suicide, call 911. That looks like they could. Did you guys think about that? You know, a suicide,
not at the time, no.
that could have happened. You never said, wow, that's crazy. Because you don't think it, but you could imagine if there was a suicide that as an after effect, that type of energy and
absolutely,
then stuff would have happened. So that's wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been things where like. There was an old radio upstairs that would just, it wasn't a radio, it was underneath, like, it was like one of those kitchen radios with the clock and the time.
Yeah.
This thing would go off by itself, white noise being played. The dryers would go on and off by themselves.
So you did have electrical stuff go on there, actually, once you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely
it didn't affect like your computer maybe going out or stuff, but you
nothing.
had utilities. Anything with lights or anything that would happen, or?
Nothing with lights, no. It was the only three things was the washer and dryer going on and off by themselves and the radios in the kitchen. That was it, and those would go off by
Were there any cold spots or anything like that, or was it?
So the only time that I ever seen anything like that was in my brother's room, where it was another summer actually night, and he was getting. I think it was like getting ready for a long weekend, and I came in and he was like sitting there wrapped up in a blanket, everything. I'm like, what's this guy doing? He's like, isn't it freezing in here? And I'm like, have you been outside? Like, it's 87 degrees humidity out. And he was, but like just this room was ice cold. Ice cold. Like you could see breath in this room.
Did you, when you were tearing down walls and remodeling, were there any other rooms besides that one where you noticed some weird stuff, or was
that was the only one that was in a basement? That was in the basement, and then the room all the way upstairs was the one where all the notes were written all over the wall.
Okay, and you didn't find anything else when you remodeled other walls and roofs?
Nope, that was it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. I live in this 300-year-old house, which I'm actually moving out of, but I told you we found like a 300-pound key in the basement. Nobody knew what the hell it was. I had pictures of it, and I had a friend who used to work for Antique Roadshow, and I sent pictures, and they're like, we've seen maybe 30-pound things, but nothing like cast iron like this or whatever that's that big. I mean, 300 pounds.
That's huge.
It's huge. You can't move it. Because maybe a locksmith would have it as an ornament outside or a decoration. Right. But because they couldn't find anything like that, there was no interest in people to buy it. Bizarre. So I ended up selling it fairly cheap. But yeah, that was crazy. We thought it was maybe the lock to open up, I don't know, Fort Knox or whatever. Who knows? We had no idea. Boston Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? Crazy.
To hell.
Yeah. So let's just wrap up in terms of anything else. I mean, I found once I started doing paranormal stuff like EVPs, things happened to me more often. I was more aware of it. Have things happened to you since, or?
No, nothing that it's caught my attention, realistically. I haven't been back to my parents' house. I mean, I only go there very seldom.
So they still live there?
Yes, they still live there.
And what type of house is it? Is it?
It's from the 1940s. It's just a regular house.
Wow, Josh, that's incredible. I mean, I'm actually very glad that the entities didn't follow you back to your house with you and your wife, who seems like she's got an empath capability. But thank you for sharing those stories. Those are absolutely amazing to hear.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I mean, I've been holding on to them for a long time and really haven't shared with too many people. So. It's just something that I look back and I look and say, yeah, that's pretty cool. Can't really say what it was, but it's been my pleasure.
Is there a ghost hunter? Last question: is there a ghost hunter part of you that wants to pick that up? And do that?
I do. I always have the urge. I would love to. I'd love to get into something like that and go. I would love to be part of that something. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that'd be pretty cool to go a part of that. But I mean. I just don't know where to start.
Well, I do. Well, I've got your number, so it's good. If I go to another place like that, we'll bring you along, okay?
Definitely. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You've been listening to the Afraid of Nothing podcast. Please subscribe and like us on Facebook. Until next time, stay scared. Hey, you're still here? Great. Then why not listen to another episode? Visit afraidofnothingpodcast.com to peruse all the shows. That's afraidofnothingpodcast.com. And while you're there, click the coffee cup icon to buy me a coffee and leave a review. I'll give you a shout out in an upcoming episode. And the world will know how swell you are.